Hey everybody, so you sys prepped your box, right? And the time is now to install the domain controller. Some preconditions. So when you first log into your box here, guest OS, this is how I do it. Control Alt Delete turns off my Linux box. So I'm not going to do that. So I'll use these keys. You should have an administrator and deployer account. You may have to set this password, right? So once that's done, you're going to go in and you're going to make sure you have a static IP address that's 10.0.17.4 and that you set your gateway and DNS to be 10.0.17.2. I've SSH'd into this box, right? And you can see I get a PowerShell prompt. I've already set the host name to DC1, so I'm ready to install that forest if I want to. And you'll notice that I have an IP address and I can ping champlain.edu. Awesome. So that all works. So what you're going to need to do, and you can refer to your lab for this for more complete information. But you're going to need to do the following. You're going to need to create an Active Directory domain, right? And you're going to be doing that via PowerShell as opposed to pointing and clicking. Every time you're dragging a mouse in terms of configuration or working with a GUI, you're doing something that's not repeatable. So the idea is that you will create documentation that later you can edit, copy, paste, revisit as an Ansible script, and that way your repeated tasks are without error. That's the hope. So so you'll install ADDS, right? You also install DNS, and if you do this all correctly, right? What's gonna occur is that the 10.0.17.2 address that you had as your DNS entry will become a forwarder, and your DNS server itself will provide DNS services to those systems that are connected to it. So you're also going to create a DHCP scope, right? Your DHCP scope is going to go from 101 to 150. That's more than enough addresses. You're going to make sure that the router points to 10.0.17.2, and then the DNS server is now your new DNS server, which is 10.0.17.4 if you did it right. Make sure to get yourself a named domain administrator, a member of both the domain administrators group as well as the enterprise admin group. You do need to be an enterprise admin to properly configure DHCP. At least that was my findings last semester. And you can either do this with a deployer user, or you can do this DHCP configuration after the fact as your named domain administrator. We're going to have a test case, right? And I'll run through it just as soon as I'm done configuring this box. So I'm going to pause the video. I'll do my configuration, and I'll come back and show you that test case, and that's what you're trying to do. That's what you're trying to accomplish through your automation efforts. So see you in a bit. Okay, I'm done configuring it. So now it's time to run our test case. So I'm on Xubuntu WAN. I have a .100 address that has not changed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to test my DNS settings. So I had to change my DNS settings on this Xubuntu box, and you may lose network connectivity if you don't do it right. You may have to pop back in through ESXi to re-engage your network if you don't do it right. So NS lookup, my domain name is hermione.local. So there it is. It's pointing to 10.0.17.4. I'll go ahead and do a ping of, I think I renamed it. I renamed it to 480 firewall, I believe, 480 firewall. But you can call it firewall, you can call it BIOS. It's totally up to you. Let's see if this works. Yep, so it went to .2. That's correct. So we'll do an NS lookup next. So 10.0.17.3, this is our future vCenter. And that worked. You can't ping it, but you can do an NS lookup on it. Let's see, we can do it, and let's look up on our domain controller just by name. Maybe I call it DC1. Yeah, I did. I call it DC1. So used to giving them names. We have three of them on cyber.local. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna log in as the domain admin, right? The name domain admin. Okay, I'm in. Who am I? So I'm a member of the domain. Now we're going to check whether or not your DNS forward and reverse records are complete. So let's do the forwards first. And let's see, I got the firewall, I got the DC, I got vCenter, and I got Xubuntu. Yeah, and if I do the reverse, I should have at least three of them, right? So 3, 2, and 100. And I could probably add a pointer record for the domain controller if I wanted to. That's not required. Actually, I'm going to add that. I'll be right back. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. I just have that. I wanted to have the domain controller actually have a pointer record, and so I tweaked my PowerShell commands to make that happen. So do that as well. What else? So we installed DHCP. Okay, let's see if we can detect the scope. Okay, so scope ID is 17.0. You can see we have 101 to, let's see if we can display that at all. 101 to 150, the least duration is 1 hour in length. Last thing we want to do is we want to RDP into our box as the domain admin. And we're in. So all that configuration should happen over PowerShell, everything. Make sure that, and if there's something that you weren't able to do, make sure to annotate that in your tech journal. In the end, is this the proof that we went through, and you'll have a document that you can follow to make sure you get similar results. So I wish you luck in Milestone 2, because we need this Active Directory server up and running before we can install vCenter. All right, bye now.